Good evening and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. The Joint Committee set up to investigate the killing of 3 policemen and a civilian by soldiers in Taraba State has arrived at Jalingo to commence work. The committee set up by the Defense Headquarters and the Police Force Headquarters is led by Michael Ogwizi, DIG Force Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department, has DCP Abba Kyari Commander, the Inspector General of Police Intelligence Response Team among senior police officers. The committee did not address media on their mission, but our correspondent reports that the committee has already commenced work. It will be recalled that the National Security Council rose from its extraordinary meeting on the nation's security situation presided by President Buhari on Thursday, directed that the matter be thoroughly investigated. The Center for Crisis Communication, CCC, has condemned the recent protest by Revolution Now movement and the ethnic profiling of the Fulani headsmen in the country, saying that the trend, if not well managed, could spark off a national crisis with far-reaching consequences. In a statement by its Executive Secretary, retired Air Commodore Yusuf Anas, the center condemned any call for revolution in the current democratic setting in the country, calling on all well-meaning individuals, groups, states and non-state actors to see the movement as a serious threat to the country's nascent democracy. While the center is not questioning the right to peaceful protest by individuals or groups, it wishes to state that it has to be done in tandem with constitutional provisions. On the Fulani ethnic profiling, the center described the narrative as unfortunate, saying that ethnic profiling is a danger to the society, as the endpoint is ethnic cleansing. The center therefore advises the country's social and mass media to embrace the principle of conflict-sensitive communication, which seeks to avoid negative impacts of their reports and maximize positive ones. The resident electoral commissioner of INEC in Cross River State, Frankland Briay, has been relieved of his appointment with immediate effect. In a statement signed by the INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festive Okoye, the decision was taken following Frankland's announcement of his resignation at the INEC office in Cross River State, instead of addressing such letter of resignation to the appointing authority as required by Section 306, subsection 2 of Constitution. INEC frowns at Frankland's and decision of using the Commission's office to announce his political ambition, bearing in mind the freedom of any individual to engage in any political activity. INEC has therefore directed Frankland to hand over all the Commission's property in his possession to the Administrative Secretary of the INEC office in Cross River State. The federal government has warned contractors handling various power projects nationwide to execute them according to specification and deliver in good time or face revocation. The Managing Director, Transmission Company of Nigeria, Mohammed Usman, gave the warning while inspecting the ongoing 132 kV transmission substation in Jigawa State. Mohammed Musa Askira has details from Dutse.
With billions of naira gone down the drain without commensurate result, but with the new power policy of the federal government that ensued into a massive construction of power infrastructure, the situation has taken a dramatic change. It is the construction of these substations across Nigeria that helped in boosting the power supply capacity across the country from 3,500 megawatt in 2011 to 5,370 megawatt in 2019. Although the provision of these substations have improved the power situation in the country substantially, their constructions are not without challenges, as some contractors do not keep to contractual agreement, leading to delay in the completion of the project, like the one handling the Gagara transmission substation in Jigawa State.
You see, if you look at this work now, there are several of them that can be done even without road. If you look at the cabling, if you look at several things, including these panels that are supposed to be put inside the control room, those things are supposed to be done even without road. You can do this. So it shows that this contractor has not been very serious.
The Gagara Power Transmission Substation with 120 megavolt amp capacity transformer will be operated with input of 132 kV and output of 33 kV when completed. These, according to the Managing Director, Transmission Company of Nigeria, Mohammed Usman Gur, will be the biggest transmission substations in Jigawa State when completed. The completion of this substation will bring to the total of the power transmission substations to 3 in Jigawa State, located in Dutse, Hadeja, and Gagarawa local government areas. The Gagara transmission substation was awarded in 2011 at the cost of about $4.1 million United States dollars. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
The federal government says investors in the gemstone and jewelry industry will no longer face any encumbrance in getting licenses to invest in the industry. The relaxation of protocols is to encourage local and foreign investors to manufacture the products in Nigeria instead of exporting raw materials. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Mines and Steels Development, Abdul Kadri Muazu, said this in a business forum organized by the World Bank program in Abuja. These stakeholders believe will reduce the capital flight in the industry.
We are conscious of the fact that in accordance with the policy of this government, and particularly Executive Order 001, for us to attract investment and to promote economic activity, we have to simplify our procedures. We have to be more efficient in the way we process licenses and permits, and we have to automate. And the ministry is embarking on a very robust program toward that. The ministry is deploying an integrated mineral resources web portal that will actually automate all our processes, including payment for fees.
Back in Nigeria, it is estimated that the value of gemstone exports from Nigeria is only about $2 million US, with most of our gemstones being exported to Thailand, Sri Lanka, Israel, Germany, and United States. And most of them, of course, are smuggled out of the country. We do not, therefore, need a soothsayer to tell us that Nigeria needs a sustainable, buoyant gems and jewelry industry to feed the appetite of our large population and for exports.
Nigeria is to enhance production and processing of mushroom for export to commodity markets within and outside the African continent. The global mushroom markets accounted for more than $38 billion as at 2018. To this end, the federal government has commenced training of mushroom farmers on standard and quality. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
Mushroom farming is gradually becoming a major global vegetable business due to its high demand for food and pharmaceutical purposes. Even though there are no records of the amount of mushroom Nigeria produces annually, however, the demand of the country's produce is on the increase. The demand are mostly from within Nigeria, Europe, the United States, and other developed countries. This brought about this training organized by the National Horticultural Research Institute for farmers cultivating mushroom. They are being trained on the nitty-gritty of modern techniques and types of species that are in high demand.
Mushroom production is capable of boosting food production and improve foreign exchange earnings for the country. Under adequate management, it is possible to generate billions of dollars yearly from production and export of the commodity.
Apart from mushroom, the farmers will also be exposed to new technology in the production, processing and marketing of ginger root.
This capacity building is one of the avenues that is being used to tackle the issues of unemployment, food insecurity, and poverty.
Hopefully, after now, I'll be able to set up my own business on ginger specifically.
Records show that Nigeria is the third world largest producer of vegetable and the largest exporter in Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
All commuting activities along Kaduna-Abuja Expressway have been brought to a halt as a result of prolonged traffic gridlock stretching about 10 kilometers around Olam farms. Unconfirmed reports indicate that this was brought about by alleged killing of a driver by a security operative along the road, which brought about protests by drivers, leading to total collapse of transportation activities. Mejama Adamu has situation reports, but viewer discretion is advised as some of the accompanying visuals might not be pleasing.
This is the scenario along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway, occasioned by chaotic traffic situation. Both lanes of the dual carriageway have been totally blocked by traffic gridlock. We are yet to establish the actual cause of this traffic gridlock, but unconfirmed reports say some security operatives shot and killed a passenger along the way, leading to protests by drivers and passengers as well, which eventually culminated into this prolonged and protracted traffic gridlock that does not have any end at sight. Frustration on the faces of travelers is very obvious. I have some of them with me here. What is the situation?
The situation here is very terrible.
It's been terrible experience with people here. You can see the worst is children and women. Children and women that are in the car. That are in the cars are in really suffering here in this terrible bush.
My experience is that we are going to be here for a long time because there's no hope at which this gridlock will be cleared anytime soon. And this can also be due to our impatience. A lane was blocked and then people diverted to the other dual carriage, and then it leads to a total blockage of the road.
So it's quite pathetic, it's quite unfortunate. In Kaduna, Mejama Adamu, NTA News.
As the rising spread of flood disaster continues to threaten lives and property across the country, Akwa Ibom State is soliciting the intervention of NEMA in the state to prevent the escalation. State Deputy Governor Moses Ekpo said this when he paid a visit to the Director General of NEMA, where he highlighted some unpleasant experiences from the disaster. He said, though the state government is working hard to assist the victims, the magnitude so far is beyond the capacity of the state.
We in Akwa Ibom State, we are prone to a lot of disasters, and we do hope that NEMA, under your leadership, will look very keenly towards alleviating the sufferings of the people of the state.
The General of NEMA, Mustafa Mihaja, reiterated the commitment of the agency in putting all the necessary measures in place to mitigate the menace. Now, in view of the rising challenges of flood disaster in some parts of the country, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has convened a stakeholders workshop on the need to upscale mitigation and intervention. Correspondent Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports that the workshop has as its theme flood risk mitigation, preparedness and response for 2019 flood. This is geared towards enriching stakeholders with information that will assist in mitigating the rising challenge.
The 2019 flood prediction by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency puts more than 30 states of the Federation in severe risks of flooding. This is due to the predicted high inflow of water from the transboundary of Nigeria occasioned by climate change. Already, flash floods have visited some states, recording a number of casualties. This workshop, organized by NEMA, is in response to this rising challenge, with all the stakeholders in the business of floods mitigation converging on Abuja to find a lasting solution to the perennial flood menace. While recounting his story of flood management in Adamawa State, the Executive Secretary of SEMA, Mohammed Aminu Suleiman, said Adamawa State was severely affected by the 2018 floods disaster, and the 2019 flash floods in the state has already claimed more than 10 lives.
We've been battling with this flood disaster, and we are trying very well.
My expectation is that I think we will have a broader knowledge of it, just like I said earlier, a broader knowledge of what we are supposed to do.
And make sure that we do the best we could, strategize and bring all the stakeholders together in our various states.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Mehajja, expressed confidence that the achievements of the 2018 floods intervention will be consolidated and improved upon in the 2019 floods response.
Has been put together in a simplified manner to remind stakeholders of their roles in disaster risk reduction, mitigation, preparedness and response.
The workshop drew participants from the national and state emergency management agencies, the Federal Fire Service, Nigerian Navy, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Ministry of Water Resources, and other relevant stakeholders. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We take a break now. The news continues shortly.
And event management are special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 2-week course on protocol, event management, and public relations to upgrade the capacities of practitioners. The course will equip participants with modern skills, techniques, and international best practices in protocol, event management, and public relations. Also, a special 4-week intensive course on non-linear editing techniques will run concurrently. The course will expose participants to modern techniques and technologies of non-linear editing. Take advantage of this course to hone your professional skills for premium packaging of your programs and reports. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. Date 19th to 30th August 2019 for the course on protocol, event management, and public relations. 19th August to 13th September 2019 for basic non-linear editing techniques. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College JOS, training you to be the best you want to be.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, Is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
Welcome back. There are indications that Nigerian entrepreneurs may soon have the vital resources to enable them contribute their quota to national development. This is because attention is shifting from not just acquiring skills to being adequately mobilized and integrated into the fabric of the society. Joseph Johnson reports that 2 books entitled Transcend the Limits and How to Prevail, which were presented to the public, supports the trajectory.
In spite of Nigeria's abundant human and material resources, as well as the economic policies of both past and present governments, the drive for local and foreign investments, those who know say, will not achieve much, except there is a deliberate improvement in the skills and productivity of the nation's workforce, which are largely constituted by the youths. This is the idea author of the books Transcend the Limit and How to Prevail, Stanley Ike, is advocating to ensure that young Nigerians are no more victimized by socio-economic difficulties.
No situation that is too bound for you to remain where you are. So transcend the limit, the semi-limitation of your environment, of your society, of your deficiency, of mediocrity, transcend the limit.
If you have a mindset of being an entrepreneur, there's some books that don't give you an insight of what it is, but this book gives you an insight of what needs to be done, what goes in towards entrepreneurship. It's more like a practical approach.
So we need to leave the now and start investing in tomorrow. Now, how do you invest in tomorrow? You need to actually focus on what potentials these young entrepreneurs have.
The book presentation is a build-up activity towards marking the 2019 International Youth Day. While different speakers applaud the advocacy, the question is, will the derogatory notion that if you want to hide something from a Nigerian, put it in a book prevail? Or will these thoughts captured in these books find their way to the target audience and eventually implemented? Joseph Johnson.
We now join Jennifer in Lagos for more on Nationwide. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ifoma, and welcome to Lagos. The Murtala Mohammed domestic terminals are buzzing with local air travelers who are in high spirits ahead of the prolonged weekend necessitated by the Eid al-Kabir holiday. Dr. Ogunyemi reports on how airport officials are coping with the upsurge.
At the Murtala Mohammed Terminal 1, it is a beehive as air passengers are trooping in their numbers to catch a flight or two going to different destinations across the country. And it is also the same at the MM2 terminal. Folusho Oyebade and his family are taking advantage of next week's holiday to enjoy a short but highly needed vacation, he says.
I'm traveling to Abuja to see my father-in-law and just basically spend the Eid festivities with him.
Others like him are also making trips now, later today, and will be doing so throughout the weekend for the Eid festivities, while some are concluding businesses and returning to their home states.
I know that there's so much increase, but the day is still early, so before the days runs out, we don't know.
The various agencies are trying to see how the air transport in Nigeria can be better than it is.
As at the time of filing this report, there was no hike in airfares, a situation that prospective passengers are hoping will remain, while security operatives remain vigilant to avoid any incidences. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Now, in view of the forthcoming Salah celebrations, the Lagos State Police Command has perfected arrangements to ensure hitch-free festival. Jessica Moses reports that already the command has put on red alert the officers and men of the anti-kidnapping units, rapid response squad, and the intelligence units to prevent any form of security threat.
Muslim faithful across the globe no doubt excitedly anticipate the Salah celebration this weekend. In preparation for the festival in the nation's commercial capital of Lagos, the command says it anticipates influx of people to the center of excellence and has also put in place measures to guarantee their security. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Bala Elkanah, disclosed that traffic personnel, surveillance and patrol teams have all been deployed. According to him, prayer grounds will be adequately secured to avoid access to criminal elements.
We are not envisaging any trouble, but it's a normal routine, preventive measures to check, to look, to clear the place and be sure that nothing harmful there, since we are expecting crowd in those prayer grounds.
Elkanah, however, urged residents to be security conscious, not unnecessarily making themselves victims of crime. The police public relations officer enjoined Lagos residents to be law-abiding as they celebrate the Eid al-Kabir festival. In Lagos, Jesuton Moses, NTA.
And to health, the Lagos State government has reaffirmed plans to boost research in public health care and enhance the capacity of healthcare workers towards achieving the item 3 of Sustainable Development Goals. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu revealed this at the African Symposium of the African Forum for Research and Education in Health on Victoria Island. Nosa Osula reports.
The governor assured residents of his administration's willingness to pursue actions and policy frameworks that will help the state improve on universal health coverage indices.
The goals of sustainable development by 2030 is to ensure that we leave no one behind. And I think it's really a very important phrase, that we leave no one behind.
Governor Sanwo-Olu added that his administration would not relent in complementing the efforts of government health workers to achieve universal health coverage in line with the dictates of the United Nations.
Our conversation around our health insurance scheme is so critical and we get it right. We launched a health insurance scheme earlier in the year and we know it's all about how do we make health accessible and what kind of looking at, because it explains to you that in health is not just about infrastructure, it's not just about money, it's about outcomes.
The participants comprise health researchers, policy makers, and stakeholders drawn from the United States of America and various African countries. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja. Ifoma, over.
Many thanks, Jennifer. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with renowned chartered accountant, iconic leader and legendary teacher Chief Akintola Williams, who turns a centenarian today. In a statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari commends Chief Williams for his pioneering and pace-setting roles, laying foundation for many institutions in the country, which include Nigerian Stock Exchange and Institute of Chartered Accountants, which have long turned into strong pillars of the Nigerian economy. As first chartered accountant in Africa, the president believed Chief Williams' prudent utilization of time from his youth and a proclivity earned him global recognition and institution that many will continue to study and draw inspiration from. The president joins family, friends, and professional colleagues in celebrating with Oloye Williams on his 100th birthday and congratulates the many honors and pride he brought to Nigeria and Africa. He prayed that the Almighty God will grant Chief Williams health and strength to continue serving God, the country, and humanity. And to education matters, proliferation and substandard textbooks dotting markets and libraries will soon be a thing of the past. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund made this known at the inauguration of a technical advisory group that will convert all screened doctorate degree theses, journals and academic manuscripts to textbooks publishing, which will also be sponsored by the fund. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
It is no longer news that textbooks by different authors and publishers are sold by vendors and found in libraries of institutions of higher learning. What is, however, of interest is whether these works are from reputable academicians or passed through their perusal as standard requires. But the experts themselves agree that such documents are embarrassing to their profession, necessitating TED Fund to facilitate the production of basic textbooks in identified disciplines in various areas for the promotion of indigenous authorship and resuscitation of local publication of books written by Nigerian academics for universities, polytechnics and colleges of education.
Vendors sell anything on the street and they call textbooks. You flip through some of them, it is a shame that they call them books. We have a responsibility to stop it and change the narrative.
Profile function academic centers have also been established in 7 universities to give the institutions more strength to remove quackery in the business.
We have lost values in the system. Books are very expensive to publish, and you have academic cheats who are not ready to work hard. They want to take shortcuts and publish lecture notes, which they can sell to the students. The plans of the TED Fund to revitalize the book industry in Nigeria, these will be a thing of the past.
Quality publication, using the academics themselves to be a major step in the right direction.
It is believed at this forum that sustaining the new measures will close the gap between Nigeria and educationally advanced countries. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The European Union says it has invested about 2.6 billion naira to build the capacity of young Nigerians in the last 5 years through its Erasmus Plus education program. The leader of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Ambassador Ketil Carlson, revealed this at the pre-departure orientation program for 2019 beneficiaries of its Foreign Education Development Scheme held in Abuja. Kelvin Ibonaye has the details.
The EU believes that the easiest way to sustain growth in any society is through the provision of quality education for the younger generation. Therefore, in the last 10 years, about 12,000 Nigerian youths have been exposed to different categories of EU educational advancement programs. And this year, 40 young Nigerians who were successful out of the over 1,000 applicants will be leaving for 12 different EU member countries to undertake master degree programs in science, technology, engineering, media studies, among others.
This is a very important opportunity for them personally. I'm sure that they're making their families very proud, but it is also an opportunity to represent Nigeria, to demonstrate, just how vibrant and dynamic and capable Nigerian youth is.
A pre-departure orientation program organized for the beneficiaries to prepare them for what to expect and how to conduct themselves to enable them reap the full benefits of the scheme took place in Abuja, where they were exposed to what can better be described as culture shock, as they will be going through a life-changing experience.
I am going for a research program. I'll be working in maternal health and childbearing, so I think I'm going to gain so many experiences working in the European labs.
The field that I'm venturing into, which is nanoengineering, it's a field that's going to take years before it gets to this country, do you understand? So from those platforms, the Erasmus Plus program, getting there, there are a lot of exposures, the international network you build and the research work. There are a lot of internships.
The EU Erasmus Plus education scheme is a full package covering tuition, accommodation, and allowance for upkeep. In Abuja, Kelvin Ibonaye, NTA News.
Mentoring future leaders and praying for Nigeria are key steps Christian leaders must embrace to have a Nigeria of our dream. This admonition was given when the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Pilgrim Commission, Uja, played host to some Christian leaders from Benue State. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
The visit is to show appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari, having appointed not only their son, but one of them, Benue Christian Leaders Consultative Forum. The group says they were in the commission to boost the morale of the Executive Secretary towards greater accomplishments.
To fashion our ways to advance the gospel and add our voice to the general development of the state and the nation at large.
The Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission, Uja, said the commission has been repackaged to meet both spiritual and developmental needs of pilgrims. He tasked Christian leaders to pray for President Muhammadu Buhari's administration as he outlined various interventions from the presidency, which he said has repositioned the commission.
The time we are in does not call for silence from the church. It calls for prophecy, it calls for advocacy, and it also calls for concrete development action. I believe that if we allow the word of God to work in this country, we will have no problems at all.
The group, who decorated the Executive Secretary, also prayed for the nation and the commission. In Abuja, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
We now join Ubehi in Benin for more reports.
Ifoma, thanks for joining us in Benin. The fight against human trafficking, illegal migration and violence against women and children in Edo State is gaining more support from the international community. The latest support is from the government of Switzerland and members of the United Nations Women. Anwudi Okolo reports that the group visited Edo State Governor and the Benin monarch to pledge their support for the fight.
Governor Godwin Obaseki, who described the visit of the Swiss ambassador and UN Women to Edo State as reassuring, says a lot has been done by the state government to address the challenge.
Apart from having set up a task force, we now have an organ that is solely focused on the issue of trafficking, and this institution is now manned by very, very committed people.
The Swiss ambassador to Nigeria, Steiner George, says teamwork between stakeholders is the best way to address the challenge.
We are committed to continue to make a valuable input also to your efforts and for the benefit of the young people.
The UN Women delegate, led by the country representative, Comfort Lamptey, have also expressed their willingness to partner the state government to strengthen its policies on women and girls' protection. Meanwhile, the Oba of Benin, Erare II, while also playing host to the Swiss ambassador, says the campaign against human trafficking is not to prevent people from traveling outside the country, but to avoid pitfalls that are associated with illegal migration.
How much reduction in illegal migration has come up as a result of our work.
Steiner George lauded efforts of the Oba of Benin towards elimination of illegal migration and human trafficking. In Benin, Anwuli Okolo, NTA News.
The wife of Ondo State Governor Betty Akeredolu has demanded proper and prompt investigation and prosecution of the alleged rapist, a soldier attached to the 32 Artillery Brigade, Akure, as this will serve as deterrent to others. She made the request while submitting a letter of protest to the State Commissioner of Police, Andy Unde, in Akure. Doris Olumoko.
About 2 weeks ago, a 300-level female student of Adekunle Ajashi University, Akungba Akoko, Ondo State, was allegedly raped by a soldier at a military checkpoint in Ikare Akoko, Ondo State. Since then, the incident has generated public discourse and protest, with many condemning the act. Mrs. Akeredolu noted that the incident is more devastating because the alleged person involved is supposed to protect the citizens.
Please, let this matter go to court because they violated a civilian.
We will not agree that let army do their own thing. No, and that's why I'm coming to you to plead with you. We are outraged.
The police commissioner Undi Ande promised no stone will be left unturned in unraveling the circumstances surrounding the alleged rape.
For us, it is still an allegation, but an allegation leveled against a uniformed personnel. There is a procedure. His own agency will have to process him to us.
In Akure, Doris Ulumoko, NTA News. And now to agriculture. Fish farmers and intending ones from the 3 senatorial districts of Edo State have received lessons on fish feed production and hatchery management to enhance their entrepreneurial capacity. The 2-day training is a collaborative effort between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Edo State Agricultural Development Program. Udakobong Achibong has details.
One of the key agenda of the federal government is the diversification of the economy through agriculture. Fishery is one area that government's agricultural drive can be achieved to ensure food security and generate income. The training therefore seeks to arm Nigerians with requisite skills to grow their source of livelihood and become employers of labor.
We want Edo State people to have that capacity to produce quality fish seed that will meet the fish production requirement of Edo State.
They will be empowered, what we call startup kits, with what they can start up their own small farm in order to earn income.
For every training, it is expected that participants put knowledge gained into action. However, finance and other logistics could be a major setback.
We are also involved in doing linkage with linkage to credit sources where farmers can access funds to establish their own enterprise.
Participants will be exposed to hands-on demonstration on how to breed fingerlings. In Benin, Udakobong Achibong, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's over to Ifoma in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Wiggy. The National Identity Management Commission is refocusing its operations from card to national identification number and ensuring the mandatory usage of the number for all government services through an ecosystem which has commenced with the Nigeria Immigration Service and in Nigeria offices in the diaspora. Director General of the Commission, Aliu Aziz, said this follows the implementation of recommendations made by Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Basically, you use 2 different numbers to serve your fatherland, state code and call-up number.
7 to 10 digits, and I was writing my NECO and WAEC at the same time, so having to cram both.
This series of registration processes to acquire identification number by Chris Okeke, a core member, and Olamide Oladile, a 300-level student of a university in Nigeria, are the narratives the National Identity Management Commission is changing through the introduction of a unique identification number immediately a child is born in the country. Director General Aliu Aziz said the Commission has set a 3-year target to register the entire population.
So what we are working on now is to make sure that there is something unique, and that is the name. The name will be given at birth and at any other time, so that we will be able to manage our resources, manage the people, and also organize ourselves.
Director General Bureau of Public Service Reform Ibrahim Dasuki Arabi, who commended the full implementation of the recommendations by the Commission, said the steps taken will eliminate duplication of duty and save costs.
Resources being used by other MDAs to generate data on Nigerians can be diverted and be used for something else. That is one good thing that they have done. Secondly, on their database, they have 36.1 million from about 700,000. I think that is a great achievement.
They also solicited the need for data of the Commission to be incorporated into the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS platform, to curb multiple accounts. Adebola, Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
The chairman of Ekiti State Council of Traditional Rulers, Alawi of Ilawi Ekiti, Oba Adebanji Alabi, has called for a combination of technical and human as well as native intelligence to tackle insecurity in the country. Kola Adebobuyi reports that the monarch also tasked Nigerians on feeding security agencies with information for the country's stability and progress.
Traditional ruler, who just emerged as chairman of the Monarchs Council, commended the federal government for the efforts made so far to check terrorism and other forms of crimes. He, however, suggested that combining native and human intelligence with technical weapons will stabilize the polity and boost political and economic growth. Oba Ajibade Alabi also appealed to Nigerians to support the armed forces and the police to check insurgency and other forms of crimes.
Struggling with insecurity every now and then, how can we have development? So government must be prepared to ensure that anywhere there is any act of insecurity that is nipped in the bud, we can only benefit from a peaceful Nigeria.
The first-class traditional rulers believe the traditional institutions has a significant role to play in mobilizing their subjects to complement government's efforts to curbing insecurity, which has continued to hinder the anticipated growth in the country. In Ado Ekiti, Kola Adebobuyi, NT News.
And Felicia is standing by for contributions from Jos Network Center. Hello, Felicia.
Hello, Ifoma. Welcome to Jos. As the Eid al-Kabir celebration draws nearer, residents of Jos are busy shopping for staple food items, just as other agencies of government are busy with their schedules to ensure a hitch-free exercise. Alisa Batukaye Andrew reports.
The festive period, accompanied with so much celebration, is known with high demands of food items and clothing, with prices most times inflated. However, NTA News gathered that prices of commodities, especially staple foods, are stable this Salah as against what they were this time last year.
No, for now there is no increasement.
They are not inflated, they are still the same price. On the other hand, Taylor said the late influx of customers is what will retard their chances of meeting the demands of the people.
Normally in a year we used to have this kind of a problem. At times, people will bring the work, they will not bring the money.
Meanwhile, to ensure an accident-free Eid al-Kabir celebration, the Plateau State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps has commenced a special Salah patrol with over 300 regular officers and 150 marshals already mobilized.
There are hazards associated with moving during this particular season, and therefore we are going to embark on enforcement on especially critical offenses like tire.
There is, however, no cause for alarm with regard to availability of petroleum products. When NTA ran into the surveillance team of the Department of Petroleum Resources, the question on whether Jos will experience any scarcity was thrown to the controller.
Total quantity of PMH is about 2.5 million. That is to assure the people that we have availability of products, and even though as we approach Salah, there's no cause for any alarm.
Meanwhile, a visit to motor parks in Jos shows there is no increase in transport fare as people travel to join their families for Salah holiday. In Jos, Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
Repositioning skills acquisition towards growing the Nigerian economy is being advocated as the panacea to tackling the high unemployment rate, especially amongst youths in the country. This dominated discourse as the Director General of Industrial Training Fund, ITF, Sir Joseph Ari, received the Senator representing Plateau North, Stephanus Gyang, and the Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly, Abok Nuhu Ayuba, at the fund's headquarters, Jos. Ndayan and Dayaba Gyang has the details.
ITF has the mandate of developing the nation's human resource towards actualizing the economic diversification of the country that is anchored on provision of skills, entrepreneurship, and agricultural development. It is in recognition of this that Senator Stephanus Gyang and the Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly, Abok Nuhu Ayuba, visited the ITF. It is with the intent of enhancing the performance of the fund in view of the strategic role it plays in the industrialization of Nigeria.
My coming is to see how there would be the necessary legislative intervention to ensure that we empower this institution to continue to do for the nation what it has been doing in a higher and better capacity.
As a young man, I will be very, very happy to see youths are trained, get what to do, and the ITF has been doing that.
The Director General of ITF, Joseph Ari, said the ITF is focusing on technical and vocational skills and has in the last 2 years trained over 450,000 youths.
That is the direction to go. We have no other way if we do not escalate the activities of skills in the environment.
The lawmakers were also introduced to Zanlu Kabot, who emerged winner of the NIDA Award for Innovation at the annual MSME Award 2019 in Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja. NTA News.
That does it from Jos. It's back to you, Ifoma, in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Felicia. And as part of measures towards ensuring a peaceful and incident-free Salah celebration, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has directed all Assistant Inspector General of Police and Commissioners of Police in charge of zones and state commands nationwide to deploy adequate operational manpower and equipment to protect all places of public interest, places of worship and recreation centers to enable Nigerians enjoy optimum safety and security during the season. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mba, also directed all state commissioners of police to put in place strategic and customized security deployment on major highways to ensure adequate safety for travelers and other road users. Meanwhile, the IGP extends goodwill and congratulates Nigerians, especially the Muslim Ummah, on the occasion of the Eid al-Kabir festival. The IGP reassures adequate security and advises Nigerians to, at all times, be security conscious and report promptly every suspicious move by individual or groups to the police or other relevant security agencies. And of course, Eid al-Kabir is around the corner, and my colleague in Ibadan, Kemi, had a discussion with a scholar on the festival. Let's join her.
Thank you, Ifoma. Glad to have you join us in Ibadan for the special on Eid al-Kabir. And with me in the studio is an Islamic scholar from the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies, University of Ibadan, Dr. Ibrahim Uthman. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, there's so many things we've had on the social preparations for Eid al-Kabir. What are the necessary expectations when we talk about religious preparation expected from Muslims?
There are many important religious preparations expected to be made for the Eid al-Adha. First of this preparation is fasting a day before. This day is the day of Arafah, which is the peak of the Hajj exercise in Mecca. For those who are not at Arafah, they are expected to fast, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did say that fasting on this day will wipe off the sins of the previous year as well as the sin of the coming year. So I urge every Muslim out there to ensure that they fast on Saturday in preparation for the Eid al-Adha.
Now, slaughtering of rams is unique to Eid al-Kabir festival. What are the conditions attached to this?
Yeah, like you said, the slaughtering of ram is unique, as known to most people, in commemoration of the submission of Prophet Ibrahim or Abraham alayhi salam and his family in order to sacrifice their only son before Allah replaced him with a ram. So to meet the requirement of sacrifice, one of the conditions that should be fulfilled is to ensure that the animal to be slaughtered is in good condition.
Now, can an individual buy more than one ram?
Yeah, an individual can buy more than one ram, but technically, religiously, only one ram is required of an individual. An individual cannot kill a cow or a camel for the purpose of this sacrifice. It is either a person kills a sheep or goat for the purpose of this sacrifice, or 7 people partake in the killing of a camel or a cow. Once this is fulfilled, a person can kill any extra animal, perhaps because of having a large family or circle of friends that needed to be entertained on that day.
Now, beyond the fanfare of the celebration, what are the core messages of Eid al-Kabir?
Yeah, among the core message of the Eid al-Adha is the readiness to make sacrifice. It was because of the readiness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son, the readiness of the son to be sacrificed, as well as the readiness of the mother to allow her only son to be sacrificed, that led to this celebration. So Muslims should learn to always find joy in sacrifice. Sacrifice to God the Almighty, sacrifice to their fellow human beings, and sacrifice to humanity at large.
But how best can Nigeria as a nation replicate these lessons?
I think there are many ways Nigerians can replicate this lesson. One of such ways we can take from the example of the Imam from Plateau State, who was ready to sacrifice his own life in order to protect his Christian neighbors from the attacking members of the Boko Haram. So we should always remember that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that la yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsi. None of you is a true believer until you love for your brother or neighbor what you love for yourself. So as we love life and we cherish life, we should also endeavor to make efforts to protect the lives of others so that we can all continue to live together in peace and harmony.
Thank you very much, Dr. Usman, for coming on the special on Eid al-Kabir. And that's it from Ibadan. Informates back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Kemi, and that concludes Nationwide for today, the last for the week. Thank you for watching. I am Ifoma Ojinta.